Welcome back to the Chamber Matters, and we were talking earlier about the arts, and we were talking about how the tourism has a huge economic impact on our community. And now we're going to talk about my favorite thing, which is food, and I'm joined by Joy Fillery, who is the owner of What's Cookin', and Aaron. And Aaron is very well represented today on this show, that's for sure, and it's a cute little community. And you have a really neat location. I had a chance to go in there, and I liked how they were preparing food out front where you could see it, and I think that's really important because it's nice to see what you're going to be eating. And I can only assume, and I know this is probably true, but you use a lot of local food there as well. So talk a little bit about your business, and the name is really catchy as well.
Thank you. What's Cookin' opened in May of 1999. A friend of mine and I decided that we'd both had enough of working in the city. I'd been in the restaurant business before that, and I had taken some time off before I opened my shop. But the idea was to be able to have restaurant quality food, to be able to consume it at home. One of the big problems of living in a village environment is that it's really tough. Well, in those days, it was tough to come up with great dining that was easy to get to. That situation certainly has changed in the hills of Headwaters over the last 15 years or so. We've got lots of great restaurants, and now that the whole culinary tourism thing is really starting to gain momentum, there's the farm experiences and the people coming from the city to see where their food is grown, those sort of things. It's making a real difference. But certainly when I started the store, the idea was that we wanted people to walk into the shop and smell what they were going to eat for dinner that night. And so we built the shop. It was only 900 square feet, very small little kitchen, but right in the center of the store. So when people came in, they really felt like they were coming into the kitchen. I'm not an East Coast girl, but I think in my heart I probably wanted to be, because I love the idea of people just coming into your kitchen and really enjoying where they're going and the experience of being there. And so we started with recipes that were my mom's and mine over the years, and some that I'd used when I was in the restaurant business, but mostly it was just seeing what was around and what was available. And we got to know the local farmers, and they started bringing me food, and the next thing you know, it became a bit of a locavore haunt. It was fun.
And you've been around for a while too, and you've seen some ups and downs, and talk about that. So how does a business like what you do sustain itself through economic times?
Well, as our friend Adriana says, everybody's got to eat. And I think when people are celebrating, whether times are good or bad, celebrations revolve around food, thankfully for me, because I'm in the food business. But even if they can't afford to have us cater a full meal or to do something really high-end for dinner, they can add a special part to their meal by something that we supply at the shop. And we certainly found that the food products that we sell at the store are a little bit different. It's not your standard fare necessarily, so it adds a little bit of complexity maybe to someone's menu, makes it a little bit more special, and we're really happy to do one-of items. For instance, a couple of weeks ago there was a gal that called, and she needed a specific strawberry mousse chocolate cake for the next day. Yeah. But it was a specific recipe that was her grandmother's, and oh dear Lord, I'm running out of time. Can you make this for me? Now, it's a recipe we haven't made before, which is always a bit of a issue because you never know if somebody's recipe is going to be great. But it was fabulous. And one of the cooks in the kitchen was able to make the cake. The gal picked it up next day. She was in tears when she picked it up. She was so excited.
Now, I had a chance to visit another type catering place in Caledon East, and you mentioned Adriana. So let's take a look at that story from Gourmandisimo.
It's been wonderful being in the hills of Headwaters over the past 12 years. We were in Yorkville before, owned a restaurant, and we're very much one in a wide sea, and I've felt moving up to Caledon that the businesses come together, people come together, and you want to give of yourself. And so, I don't know, it's been great being out here. there are some people who stop on their way up going north, and they will stop at our shop, and they know we're here to pick up meals and dinners and continue on their way, whether they're exploring or whether they have a home in the country. But a lot of the events we do, I think, are big tourist attractions. We just finished the Canadian show jumping champions at the Palgrave Equestrian Park, and that was a 4-day event, and that attracted a lot of people from the city. And two of the luncheons that were like 300 and 350 people, the Saturday and the Sunday, were in honor of the Children's Wish Foundation as well. So, you know, that's promoted to a lot of people and bringing them out. Our dinner that we do for the Headwaters Hospital, it brings a lot of people from the area, but so many now that come up from the city for that particular event. So many events that we do, I think, would be the main tourist attractions, because they come out for something to do in the country. Everybody wants a reason to come out to the country. So if we give them that and we have the perfect landscape for it, they will come. By trade, I'm a pastry chef, so that was my first love. And not only that, but you know, the wine courses, I took a lot of wine and service courses as well, because I loved that aspect of everything. And so we offer all our own homemade baked goods here, cakes to order, specialty cakes, wedding cakes to order, all of our takeout food that Jill and, you know, Rachel and our other chefs prepare in the back of the house. We do a lot of off-site. I love putting together events in an old barn or in the middle of a field, or, you know, by the pond. You know, everybody has a different vision. Everybody is unique, and I think that's what makes our business appealing to me. I like change, I like growth, I like challenges, and so when the Best Western approached us about being their in-house caterer, that was just another wonderful challenge. And so it's been great working with them, and we have a wonderful rapport. It's an amazing facility, and being able to service clients and corporate clients in the weddings on that, you know, in Orangeville and in that direction. So that was a wonderful addition to our business. Lucky for me that Jill is a very calm-natured soul. He's an amazing chef. We met in downtown Toronto working at a Movenpick location, actually, and he came over from Geneva at the time. He had been working all over the world. And so his 1-year stint, and I had been there apprenticing, and that was it. Within 2 years we were married, and we've been working together 22 years. We've been married 22 years. So I guess we're doing something right. And we're very different, so our yin and yang complements each other. I am the sort of the manager and the spokesperson, I guess, you know, speaking with the customers, getting the events, but I wouldn't be able to do it without his talent and skill at the back of the house and organizing it all, and always being so calm, whether he's serving a dinner of 10 or a dinner of 500. He's just always the calm one in everything, and I'm the one who gets things done, so you need a bit of both. So it's you know, it has its challenges. I wouldn't be, you know, I'd be a liar if I said it was, oh yeah, great. But it always works at the end of the day, and it's great. We are very fortunate that we are in the food business, and people always want to eat, they want to celebrate. You know, I found that the first couple of years, the weddings, they were trying to be a little bit more conservative, you know, because they didn't know what their future held. But I think people's optimism has come back, because you know, it was an amazing, 2012 was an amazing year for us, I have to say. You know, thanks to everybody, it was a super year, and 2013 is still looking just as great. Like people have come out of their slump. They're looking forward to throwing big parties. They're looking forward to celebrating special occasions, whether it's a marriage or a new business or, you know, retirement. Like, it's amazing. They'll find something to to celebrate on just about any level. Like, I find they really are throwing a lot more parties again, and even the corporate, I think, to keep the morale boost in their staff, have, you know, started doing their events again. Like, you know, our Christmas parties are full for corporate clients, and so that's a positive thing. They want to celebrate with their staff. They want to thank them for sticking with them through the good times and the bad. And so no, yeah, I'd say we're very fortunate that we get to feed people and celebrate with them.
And now I don't think this would be the wrong thing to say, but I would think that anybody who comes up to the area for tourism has to incorporate a visit to get food somewhere in there. So if you're going to the theater, you're probably going to get food. If you're shopping, you're probably going to get food. So I don't want to say it plays the most important part, but for most people, I think it's probably the #1 thing on their list when they're looking at a community to go visit.
The question we have, from high-end restaurants to shops like Joe's, where you can take home a taste of Headwaters with you when you leave, or to our little cafes and coffee shops. It's what makes us special, because it's also there where you get to meet people like Joe, and you meet our operators who love this region and are our best tourism ambassadors.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, especially in the smaller businesses, which is really cool because you get to go in. Like when I went in, I'd never been in your location before, and I went in and I got to meet you, and it's great to see the people behind the ideas. Now, I know that you've been really involved in tourism. Aside from running a tourist type business, you're involved. You sit on the board as well. So can you talk a little bit about that and why you're involved the way you are?
Well, about 2 months before my shop opened, I was approached by 2 merchants in the village of Erin. One was Ann Cavan from Caliper Designs, and the other was Deb Shortle from Hannah's clothing store that's still on the main street in Erin. And they had been involved with in the early days with the Hills of Headwaters, then known as Headwaters Country Tourism Association. They had been part of the steering committee in the early going, and they were on the board, and they were looking for new board members. And because it's a village, they already knew me, and they convinced me that it would be a really good way to start networking with other like-minded businesses and to learn more about the region and what kind of role tourism could play in growing my business. So I decided to try it on for size and went to a board meeting and thought, this is the most amazing structure, and what a fabulous opportunity for me to get to know other people in our region and what our region has to offer. And very selfishly, from the very beginning, I learned more and made more contacts through my association with other businesses through the Hills of Headwaters that gained me, suppliers and clients and customers and staff. I mean, that part of it was amazing. But the real benefit from my standpoint is, as someone who lives in the Hills of Headwaters, tourism brings economic vivacity to the community.
And I'm gonna leave us on that note. Great point. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today, Joe. Michelle, stick around. Don't go away, because we're going to be talking horses next.